What do you mean you pissed on your floor?
Oh, I should save that for the patrons.
What do you mean?
I'm going to save it for the patrons. That's where the good shit comes out.
Anything involved with piss and shit. How have you fucking spilt that on the floor? Look at that. Look at the mess. Look at that.
It's the first time I picked it up, so it's obviously you.
No, it's you, because you're the cunt that put it down. Look at the mess. No, look at the mess that you've made. It's not me, is it? That's going to stain.
Oh, fuck off.
Well, it is. It's coffee.
Well, it's stained.
You'd be fucked if this was carpet. Luckily, this is tiling.
Give it a rest.
Look. Animal. Piss on the floor and now you're fucking spilling coffee on mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's mental. We're here. Again, for another week. You need to liven up. What are you doing?
Looking at your Tesco socks.
Oh. Tesco's value, mate. Do you like that? You know I got the jumper to match.
Of course.
Yeah. They had no t-shirts and shorts, otherwise I would have got the full gear. What can I say? That's how it works. Feel like adding anything today?
I was waiting for you to do your intro.
This is it. We're in it. We're in the mix of it. The thick of it.
Episode number...
Oh, fuck knows. 40... No, 50... 40... 50 something? 40 something?
Okay,
50 something?
Let's talk... Oh, before we do that, we have surpassed 5,000 downloads.
65. Episode 65.
Okay. So we've surpassed 5,000 downloads, so thank you.
Do the maths with that what you will.
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know, it's a lot.
What is that?
It's a fair bit.
5,000.
Divided by
I don't like the maths.
52.
Oh, something fucking small numbers.
Is it?
That's not... How does that make sense, though? Because that's not the average.
5,000.
I don't want to talk the numbers. That's not the average.
What do you mean?
That's not our average of
But
listeners.
some have done a lot better than others.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
why.
this is true.
So thanks for that. Anyway, you finished Assassin's Creed Mirage. Let's go. You gave it a...
I'm delving straight into
I'll
it.
let you fucking reveal your score. At the end.
Oh, all right. Well, Mark's platinumed it.
Last week, you said, I've only played a couple of hours, it's looking good,
Last
blah, blah,
week-
blah, so let's jump off from that.
Last week, I had put 2 hours into the game. Was it 2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've now finished it with 16 hours. Bang on 16 hours into the game. It come out last Thursday. So we're a little over a week. And Mark platinumed it. He started playing it Friday night and had it platinumed on the Saturday. Which is quite...
He platinumed it in 24 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
That's fucking mental.
Or he had it done Sunday. Either way, he started it on the Friday and it was done before the fucking week, the next week begun. So I thought, right, well, I'm not interested in platinums, but I will obviously finish it. And it's a short campaign. All right, I'll give you the overall score first, and then I'll explain why I've given it the overall
this
score.
This review will be spoiler free, by the way, I'm guessing.
There's not much to spoil.
Well, let's not, because I see that Sam said he was going to play it soon. So.
Okay, all right, it will be spoiler free. It'll be spoiler free. I give it a 5.5 out of 10.
Oh, you gave it a 6.
Yeah, it's gone down.
Oh.
It's quite possibly one of the worst Assassin's Creeds I've ever played.
That's crazy.
And I don't think I'd bother buying another one.
No, that's your favourite franchise,
Yeah, I know.
isn't it?
It's awful. I hate saying it.
I feel sorry for you.
You'd
You'd be laughing at me if this was the other way around.
I know.
You're a
But
cunt.
we've grown up. We've grown up in our time together. I think Ubisoft need to leave Assassin's Creed. If I'm honest, I think it's done. It's run its course. So the game itself, it's not a bad game. It's so difficult to relay properly, but there's 3 aspects in the game that are incredible, like the best I've ever experienced. Number 1 is the assassinations. All right, they just, for some reason, they just feel so incredibly good, and they're gory, and they're just fun to do. You spend probably 95% of your combat is stealth and assassinations. That is the most of it. Admittedly, there's no twin hidden blades. You only got the one, which is
that's old school. That's where I used to be. Huh?
Yeah, that is canon. But so your assassinations, albeit slightly limited, are still very fun to do. The tools that you get, so like throwing knives, smoke bombs, the typical tools that you've always had throughout pretty much all the games. Very, very, very fun. Very fun. They feel very responsive. They feel very useful. You know how I genuinely thought that was the Watch the Buttons hoodie that you was about to throw on that. I appreciate you using your own hoodie. Oh, it is the Watch the Buttons hoodie. It's the fucking Genesis.
It's the old one.
You just threw the OG.
Well, it's giving me anxiety it being there.
Yeah, well, I suppose if anyone's allowed to put Watch the Buttons merch on fucking coffee stains, it's us. I guess.
If we're not allowed to,
if anyone can ruin their own flag, it must be the owners of said flag. Okay. So you know how in a lot of games, if they give you a wheel of tools that you can unlock, 9 times out of 10 you don't really utilise them.
Correct.
I throw you over to Horizon Zero Dawn. You have a whole fucking load of different things, different bombs and arrows and shit like that. And you normally find your niche and stick with it. Is usually what happens. Well, in this game, is in Assassin's Creed Mirage, it feels good to use everything, absolutely everything. For example, smoke bombs. You throw it down, it blows up. A big old red mist comes, and regardless of if you're in combat or not in combat, you can throw this bomb down around a load of people, and you can start assassinating them. And it lasts quite a while, and there's all different talents and stuff like that you can pick, which enhance certain tools like your throwing knives and your abilities and things like that. So the assassinations and the tools feel really good, especially the throwing knives. Throwing knives feel really, really fucking responsive, really, really nice to use, of which myself and Mark, that was our primary source for fucking killing people, was the throwing knives. The third thing that I found really, really great, and was one of the things that everyone speculated when it was first announced and when we first saw that reveal trailer and the gameplay and things like that, is it's called Focus. You know that teleportation ability?
Yep.
It's called Focus. So fucking fun to use. Unbelievably fun. You can skill it up so that you can get... I had 5 bars of focus. It's basically like Deadeye from Red Dead. You freeze time, and then as long as you're within range and you can visibly see people, you can tag them.
Zip about.
And then, you teleport behind them. So you find yourself, like I say, you start with 4 bits of focus, so you can kill 4 enemies at once. And then I had 5. I can't remember if you can go up 6 or not. But you can take out an entire room with it, and it just makes life so much more fun and the combat a lot more engaging and the stealthy side of it. And I feel like once you delve into the story, because it's revealed to you very, very early on as to why you can do this, it makes perfect sense. When we all saw that teleportation first with no reason as to why you're able to do this, it was very much like, well, what the fuck's this? Why can we suddenly do that? But that's revealed very quickly and you understand it. And it's one of those abilities where you use it consistently all the fucking time. And once your focus is done, you can rebuild it every time you get an assassination kill, which is all the fucking time. So you are using it very consistently. Those 3 things were probably the only good things about this game.
It sounds like most of the game was good, though, with them 3 things being the best things.
No,
okay.
No.
Keep going.
Absolutely not. The free running is probably the worst free running I've ever experienced in any single game in my life. It made me want to put the controller through the telly, and I had Steph play it, and she hated it as well.
You said last week free running felt good.
It did, and then it went to absolute shit.
What happened?
I've determined that 2 hours is not enough time to understand how a game's feeling. It's not enough. The nostalgia was high on then. I've finished it now. I've completed it. The nostalgia is at an all-time 0. The free running is so janky, and you'll experience it if you ever play it. Your character feels so fucking slow. So slow. what they've done is they've changed the button layout as well. Where it used to be you hold down X to engage sprint, and that was also your free running to engage it. They changed it, so now you click in the left stick, right? Very fucking annoying. They've also changed the way you do combat. So rather than it being the typical like square triangles and circles, no, it's R1 is your main attack, and then your heavy attack is to hold down R1, and then L1 is your parry, right? And then you can dodge with circle. Obviously, if you're on Xbox or whatever, it's different. But the free running felt stupid. It felt dumb. Imagine a set of stairs with pillars next to it, and then, I don't know, a fucking rooftop. If you're aiming to climb up those pillars and go to the rooftop, your geezer will try and jump up the stairs. You know what I mean? There's so many different things where you think, why can't you just grab onto that? Why can't you do that? Or because of the running, because you feel so slow, it completely ruins the flow of anything. And it's not like you have to toggle the sprint, yeah? And then every time you free run, and then you say you climb up a building and then carry on, you're no longer sprinting. I've got to toggle sprint again. And then I jump off a ledge, I've got to toggle sprint again. And then when you hang off a ledge and then press circle to go to like progressively go down, half the time it doesn't work, or you just hold down circle and you drop off a ledge. When you do any of that, it immediately puts you in crouch the minute you touch the ground, which means when you then go to sprint, sprinting doesn't take you out of crouch, because crouch, you can sprint in crouch but a lot slower than a normal sprint. So you have to take yourself out of crouch to then sprint, and then you hit some free running again, and then you're not sprinting again, and then you got to sprint. It's just so, it didn't feel good at all. It was more annoying than it was. I found myself purposely skipping bits of free running, like running upstairs and running in between buildings and stuff like that on the floor, as opposed to climbing the fucking things, because it was just doing my head in with the fucking climbing. Especially when you find yourself in combat or you're trying to stay hidden. The amount of times you would accidentally go up a ledge, or imagine you have a squared off area with a foot worth of a fucking ledge. Your normal mind would think you can either step onto that ledge and then just simply step off without having to do anything. The game would know that that's not for fucking free running. I just want to get over it. But you would have to engage a climb to step up onto the ledge, and then you can't just walk off the fucking thing. You then got to disengage off a ledge to get off the fucking thing, which doesn't sound that bad, but when you're trying to stay hidden and not get into combat, it's a fucking nightmare. And I think a lot of people will have the same thoughts and feelings with that one. Free running just isn't good. Hand-to-hand combat shit. It's the worst hand-to-hand combat the melee is awful. Absolutely awful. It is extremely boring. Every single enemy has the same fucking moveset. It's the same patterns. They have an ability where they shine red, and that's one that you have to dodge, otherwise it does a lot of damage. They have an ability that shines bronze or orange or something like that. That's the ability that you can parry. And then it'll pop up and it'll say that you can kill them. R1, kill them. Rinse and repeat. You got a shitty stamina bar that after about 3 or 4 hits is depleted. So you then got to wait for that to recharge. And it's just very boring. It's very boring. You know how Shadow of War, those types of games where it is very simple combat, but the hordes of enemies, it makes you feel like everything's linked up, how you can parry one, then boom, kill. But it's the same recipe, but it just doesn't feel anywhere near as good.
The animations is the key there, isn't it? Every time you're in the combat and someone tries to hit you from behind in Batman or Shadow of War, and you counter it, your character will like turn and block and throw him over his shoulder. Then you'll block, you'll counter something else, and he'll move in another way. That's why you might just be pressing the same 2 buttons,
but you're doing those different
the animations
things.
Are different.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed, you haven't got that. There's an ability right at the end of one of the talent trees that you can get, where basically that red attack that comes up that you need to dodge, you can forwards roll into it, and then you'll roll over their back, and then you're behind them, and you can start attacking. Again, you're putting that right at the end of a fucking skill tree. That's the final product of one of those skill trees. So by the time you've reached the end of that, unless you've piled all of your skills into that specific tree, of which there's only 3, and there's only about 9 fucking things in each tree, so it's not massive. But by the time you've got there, you're at the end of the game anyway, unless you've done all of the side stuff and none of the main story. So it just from a combat point of view, they also the armor and the weapons are useless. There is absolutely no rhyme or reason to them whatsoever. So you don't, you know how in old Assassin's Creed, if you kill someone, they drop their weapon. You used to be able to pick up their weapon for a little bit, stuff like that. You can't do any of that shit. All right. So let me explain. You have a sword and you have a dagger. All right. Those are your two weapons, and they're your only weapons. There's no maces, there's no axes, there's no spears, there's no long swords, there's nothing like that. You have this scimitar or scimitar. Is it how you say it? Scimitar, scimitar,
scimitar.
Scimitar. We'll go scimitar.
I think it might be scimitar. Scimitar
and a dagger, of which I got a cool sword and a cool dagger for having the collector's edition, and every weapon and every bit of armor has a unique ability. So for example, my final armor, it had 5% increase focus regain on assassination kills, and every single bit of armor and every single gear you can level up 3 times. So the armor is actually an outfit, so it's not like you got your helmet, your shoulders, your chest. It's all just one piece of gear. They're all fucking useless, right? None of them make any sort of difference. You know how Cyberpunk was with all of their armor at the beginning? It's basically like that. They've got tiny little bits that make no fucking...
0.1 health regeneration.
Literally, yeah. You're talking 5%, which you can upgrade, so it goes up in 5%. It's this focus one, for example. But again, it's not a necessity. One that I was using for most of the game just makes you quieter while you're sneaking around. And I upgraded it to max almost instantly. Basically, from what I gathered in my playthrough, is you can't go and buy gear and weapons off of vendors or anything. You can only really upgrade them. The gear itself you find randomly in chests, which is quite rare. Instead, you find schematics, which allows you to upgrade those bits of gear and those weapons. But like I say, they don't actually make any form of difference whatsoever, especially with the weapons. The damage, they've got a damage level and a parry level. There's very, very little differentiation between any of the weapons, which means they're redundant. You can very, very comfortably have the exact same gear and the exact same weapons that you start the game with. Don't upgrade them and you'll be absolutely fine, which to me means it's a pointless system. If I can use the default and not have to do anything with it, it's pointless. What's the fucking point? So it makes the combat even more boring because there's nothing new for you to try out with it. There's some weapons on there that you can buy from the Ubisoft store that will set enemies on fire or poison them, which I'm sure you can find things like that in game. I didn't actually find any because I didn't come across any. There's loot chests knocking around where sometimes you have to solve a little puzzle or you have to try and break down a door and stuff like that. After doing about 10 of them, they become so fucking tedious that you just can't be bothered. Especially when the current shit that you're using is doing its job as it is. There's no necessity to do anything. Like how when you play Elden Ring for the first time, you're getting fucking slaughtered to the point where it's I either invest time in getting better gear and leveling up.
Get good.
Yeah, I either get good or I put my fist through the wall. Either or. So it forces you to go out, explore the world, get better gear, level yourself up, hone your skills, and then come back and try again. Assassin's Creed Mirage is by no way anything fucking Soulsborne. I'm not likening the two. But just having something to make it worth my time doing anything with my gear and my fucking weapons, of which it didn't. It just didn't fucking do anything. Another thing that I didn't like, the story was shit until the very end, which I find that annoying. It was I wasn't attached to anything at all. The voice acting was shit. The face animations were shit. The graphics were shit. It just didn't feel good. And this is coming from someone who fucking loves Assassin's Creed. It's tattooed on my arm. I've got 3 Assassin's Creed tattoos. I fucking love the series.
No Basim going on.
It's everywhere. I like Basim as a character. That's the annoying thing. The characters themselves, I like them. There's a lot of potential there. They're really fucking cool. However, the execution of it just wasn't it didn't feel good. The voice acting was good, but it wasn't at the same time because it didn't fit with the characters nor the facial animations, which made the voice acting bad. It weren't enjoyable. You found yourself reading the subtitles quicker than they're saying them and then skipping through because it just wasn't engaging whatsoever. And then you have things like the quest logs themselves. Very plain, boring quests. Very plain and boring. There's nothing that's keeping you. Basically, you end up with this map with your main target is in the middle and it's surrounded by other targets. And each target is obviously the people that you kill in like every Assassin's Creed game. And you have to find clues in order to find out where these people are. And they're all just the same shit. It's the same shit over and over again, and the bosses within those levels, we'll call them, don't feel like bosses at all. Me and Mark were saying this morning there was one of the ones he didn't even realise he'd killed the boss. It just popped up saying on his quest log that he had killed him. There was another time, and me and him both had the same thing, you can hire rebels to help you attack, like mercenaries and shit like that. They're fucking killing the boss. Well, that's not normal. That's not fun. And you can also, I know it's Assassin's Creed, but you can also assassinate the bosses with no prior requirements whatsoever. So all of them, as long as you're in the right position, you can get on a ledge, you can get in a bush, whatever, and you can just kill them one hit. That's a boss. That's the main boss. But if you do end up in combat with them, they're no different to a normal enemy whatsoever. They're no different. There's no challenge there, which I think in a lot of cases is okay as long as the story is good. But when the story's not fucking holding you and the bosses in that story are shit, it makes it even worse. So I feel like for me, when you said last week it was originally meant to be a DLC, which was then turned into a game, it should have been made a DLC. It should have stayed as a DLC because I wouldn't put it... I was saying it's okay, it's so short because it's only a 45 quid game. I wouldn't have been happy paying 45 quid for that. I would have 25, 30 quid. If the people listening, if you're wanting to get Assassin's Creed Mirage, get it on discount because it just isn't worth it. It's not worth it. And if you haven't played Valhalla either, the ending of Mirage makes no sense whatsoever. Makes none. Because you don't know the lore. You don't know the lore of Basim. Because obviously Basim's introduced in Valhalla.
He is.
Of which the ending's very good, but I had to Google what it meant because it does not make any sense.
Because you haven't finished Valhalla, have you?
No, and I'm not going to because it's too long. I can't bother. But when you Google it and you find out the history of Basim and someone's explained it, that's when you go, oh shit, yeah, that makes sense. And you think back to what you've just seen and you go, yeah, that makes sense, that's cool. But unless you do that, it's like, well, I ain't got a fucking clue what's going on here.
Okay, so I feel like after all that, 5.5 is quite generous.
Building blocks wise, it's a good game, man. When they said they were going back to their roots, it definitely felt like they had gone back to their roots. It felt a lot more Assassin's Creed 2, Black Flag, Brotherhood style. It wasn't anything like the last 3. It was a lot more toned down, which I enjoyed. I much preferred playing Mirage as I did Valhalla and Origins. Obviously, I skipped Odyssey. But it was just so boring. It was so boring. There's no attachment there whatsoever. And the best part about it was just doing assassination kills. But it didn't matter who you was killing. It was pointless.
Well, it's sitting at a 77 on PS5, 78 on Xbox, 77 on PC on Metacritic. So
it's mediocre.
They're a lot more generous than yourself.
It's average. It's not fantastic. You know what I mean? It's not awful, but in my opinion, out of all the Assassin's Creed games that I have played, that's either the worst or Valhalla. You know what I mean? The last 3 Assassin's Creed games that I've played have been the worst Assassin's Creed games that I have played. And I would probably say that Mirage is more or less the worst one because that was supposed to be taking it back to its roots and giving you that nostalgic how it used to be feel when it just wasn't. It didn't deliver.
Well, this reviewer gave it a 4, and this is what he said. Whilst I like the idea of going back to the core elements of Assassin's Creed, I feel like this was a poor way of doing it. The characters feel bland and two-dimensional. The campaign is short and predictable, and the gameplay loop is extremely underwhelming. If you play for a while, you'll notice there is only one type of finisher animation that you repeatedly use after a parry. The game has only 2 types of weapons, a sword and a dagger. All variants of these, of which there are only 6 respectively, share the same animation and feel. The old engine that is being used also hurts the game, as the graphics and physics feel dated, can't even come close to other next-gen games that have come out in the last few years. Conclusively, this game did a very poor job of going back to its roots, making it feel basic, boring and forgettable.
Yep. I'm happy that I got the collector's edition because I think everything I got in that, the steelbook, the statue of Basim, the map of Baghdad, the brooch, all of that stuff, the art book, I'm very happy with that. I don't feel bad that I've bought the game. I don't regret anything, and I'm happy that I've played it and completed it. But it's just not good, man. It's just not a good game. Simple as. I agree with everything that reviewer's just said. It's so bland. So bland. I have never looked through my phone more whilst playing a game. And this is a series that I love.
It's your favourite,
I cherish this. This is my favourite. This is hands down my favourite. Next to The Last of Us, this is my penultimate gaming franchise. And it was just fucking awful. Absolutely awful. The only thing that I'm interested in is that weird remaster remake thing they're supposedly doing, a Black Flag. But in terms of new iterations of Assassin's Creed, I don't think I'll bother if it's going to be anything like that, because it just wasn't. And this isn't a small time developer either. You know what I mean? They know what they're fucking doing, and it was just waff. It feels very much like, well, you want us to make a cheap game, you'll get cheap quality. Simple. So that it's a letdown.
I sympathise with you.
It's just boring, man. It's very boring. Sam, get it, but you've been warned, man. Don't expect to have a real fucking fantastic time. What I can imagine it's like is, when we was playing Final Fantasy and we eventually settled on the fact that it's shit. and Sam was like, yeah, it's a bit waff, but I've got that nostalgic attachment to it, so it's decent for me. That's how I feel. If I didn't love Assassin's Creed, I would have been sitting there going, what the fuck is this? Mark sold this game and the steelbook. He made 80 quid back. Sold them for like 40 quid each. So he's all right. I won't sell anything because I like to keep the edition together. But yeah, it's just disappointing, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm disappointed for you. Yeah, the Final Fantasy thing, I think I don't really think it was a bad game. I think I just put too much in too quick, and it was just a bit dull after a while. But I do see why people love it, because people do fucking love that shit. You'll be surprised to know I haven't played Baldur's Gate.
I'm not surprised whatsoever.
It's not over.
I might be at the reason why.
It's not over. It's just, I feel like I needed a break. I'd put like over 60 hours in probably 65 hours worth of life.
Yep.
So I just needed a break, and I hit a bit of a brick wall where I was just banging my head against this geezer or this boss fight. There's a couple of levels higher than me, and in Baldur's Gate, a couple of levels higher is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I need to back out of that and come back to that. And it was just eating away at me that Cyberpunk was just sitting there. So I jumped into Cyberpunk, and I've been playing that all week. I finally made it to the DLC. I just bum rushed the story, really. I was just skipping dialogue and all sorts, because I didn't know when the DLC was going to kick in, because you have to get to a certain point. So you have to get to Pacifica and do a mission there, and then Mr. Hands bells you up. He's like, "What you saying, geez?" And I was like, "What you saying?" And then we said, "What you saying?" to each other for 10 minutes. And then I headed off to Dogtown. It's fucking very interesting. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. It's not Baldur's Gate, And Baldur, this is what I said would happen.
Fucking shocker.
This is what's happening already. First game I've played since Baldur's Gate, and I'm just seeing that it's not Baldur's Gate.
Well, yeah, they're two completely different fucking games.
I am aware of this.
Massively different.
Um,
Baldur's Gate doesn't have Yggdrasil sitting in the middle of Dogtown, though.
what? Who's got Yggdrasil in the middle of Dogtown?
Dogtown.
Who's got Yggdrasil?
You don't see the massive fucking tree that's in the middle of Dogtown.
No, I haven't.
How?
Because I haven't seen it.
Have you been in Dogtown?
Of course I have.
You would have seen it.
I haven't.
Definitely have.
I haven't seen it. I've seen a big pyramid.
Haven't seen that.
What?
Well, exactly. So we're at a crossroads
It's
here.
impossible not to, because you see it as soon as you come out the garbage chute. The pyramid's there.
And it's impossible to not see the tree because you literally, one of the first missions you do in Dogtown is next to the fucking tree.
Well, how do you know I've done the missions in Dogtown?
Because you just told me that you've been in Dogtown.
I've been in Dogtown.
So you would have seen the tree because it's in the centre of it. It's literally there.
No, I haven't seen it. Nevertheless,
I'm talking shit.
it's not Baldur's Gate. It doesn't feel like Baldur's Gate, and it's not Baldur's Gate. So that's the only thing letting it down.
Did you see what Sam said about Baldur's Gate?
Yeah, I read all that, and I just dismissed it and thought, what a
Of course
twat.
you did.
What a
I stand with Sam.
I know you would.
100%.
You're just a fucking whelp. But
No, it's just,
it's what?
it's not everyone's cup of tea, is it?
I know it's not
It's not everyone's cup of tea.
I don't want it to be.
Is it?
People like you, scum, need to stay out. You only drag it down anyway.
I bought it before you did.
Yeah, because you had a PC and you wanted to
Yeah,
play it.
and I played it before you did. And I've never said a bad thing about it.
Well, you just did. I stand with Sam.
Yeah, that's not saying a bad thing about it.
Just shut up.
Even he said he couldn't. It's just not our cup of tea.
Sam doesn't like it. That's fine. I get his reasons. I would rather not have a turn-based combat style game, but there we are. It's still my favourite game of all time. I don't even really like turn-based combat games. Yeah. So the problem with Phantom Liberty and Cyberpunk is it's not Baldur's Gate, and that's the only bad thing I can say about it. Other than that, it's been pretty good.
How far into it are you?
Barely anything. I have met Idris.
Mm-hmm.
Took him to the place where he needed to go to see the person that he needed to see.
Okay, so you've definitely been near the tree.
He took her off, and I left Dogtown and went back to Night City.
I think and you haven't gone any further than that?
No.
We're at the same point then because I haven't picked up... It's a squirrel.
It's cool.
Because I haven't picked up Phantom Liberty since then. Not because I don't want to play it, just because I've been doing other things.
Yeah, because it says he fucks off, and then it says give him 2 days, and then he'll bell you.
Yeah, I just skipped those 2 days.
Yeah, I didn't, so I just went out. I like to let things play as if it was actually real life playing.
Yep.
So I went out and I done a gig. I went and saved someone from some fucking clinic or something. And then I found a car and I stole that. And then someone said, bring it here. So I drove out of Dogtown being chased, shooting out of the car. And then I dropped that off. And then I carried on the main story in Phantom Liberty. Because, excuse me, they kind of coincide really well. Where it starts you off in Dogtown plays into like the overall narrative, as it's like the whole package now. It plays into the overall narrative, so it doesn't feel like jarring jumping from Phantom Liberty back to Night City to go and carry on with the main missions with like Takamura, if that is his name, I think he is. About to do the mission where you have to do the big parade in Japantown with the float.
Yep.
About to do that. And then obviously you've got Matey Bob ringing you up. It's quite amusing. I was out having dinner with Takamura. And,
Nice.
It was like a cutscene as well, and then it just popped up that fucking Reed was ringing me, and I was like, oh, "That's weird." And then he answered, and V just went, "Look, I'm a bit busy right now." I was like, "That's cool that the interaction has played out."
Yeah, it's a nice little...
That it's ringing during a cutscene because they're kind of still connected. It's cool. So yeah, I've had a great time. I found a Terminator Easter egg, which was pretty cool.
These are decent.
Have you seen Terminator 2?
I think so. I think I have. Probably.
Yeah, it's a Terminator 2 Easter egg, and that was in Night City. But overall, yeah, it's just more cyberpunk at the moment, and I'm all for more cyberpunk. Gunplay still feels great. I was confused. I installed a Sandveststein or whatever it's called. To
Sandeveston.
Yeah, that's the one. To slow down time. But by doing that, it takes away your ability to hack people because it takes up your hacking slot. It takes away your cyberware slot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't think that was the way it used to be. So that's an interesting change. So you can't have both of them. So I went back to hacking because I like hacking people. It's fun.
See, I never hack anyone.
What?
So I probably need to go for that.
Oh no, always.
Mate, I'm fucking guns blazing. I mean,
yeah, but you can guns blaze and hack when you.
yeah, I know.
You just set one on fire and then shoot the other one, or reboot his optics, and he's like, I can't fucking see, man.
I know. I just don't. I just go in with the shotguns.
Nah, yeah, I mean,
blowing heads off.
That's fine. Play it how you like. It's the beauty of the game. But yeah, at the moment,
sound devastating now.
I think it's fucking really good. I like all the changes. I like the cars. I like the guns. One thing has always bothered me about Cyberpunk, and it still bothers me, and I can't believe it's not in it. Why on earth you can't do wheelies on motorbikes? Pisses me off.
Yeah, it's stupid, isn't it?
It pisses me off
Really
more than
fucking
it
stupid.
should. I don't know why it annoys me.
And I don't understand why there isn't a handbrake button.
Who is?
There isn't.
Who is?
What is it then?
I use it every time.
What is it?
X.
No.
Yes. I promise you. I even wheel spin. I hold down accelerate, I hold down X, and it goes, and then I let off X, and it goes, I promise you. It doesn't come up on the side of the screen.
No, that's why I won't fucking...
Yeah. Well, you can press square to beep your horn as well. Did you know that?
No, I knew about square, but all the
that
times...
doesn't come up on the side of the
no,
screen.
but all the times I pressed X, it's never done anything for me.
I promise you. Handbrake turn.
Oh my God.
That's how
I was about to say, I was like, it hasn't got... Because I thought it was one of those where L2 is obviously brake, and I thought that was the handbrake that they're thrown in as well, like the same button. And I was like, I hate it when people do that. Oh shit, no wonder the fucking...
I do U's all the time. I just press X and then just do a UE in the road.
Yeah, I need to fucking... Oh, right. Fair play.
But yeah, wheelies on bikes, man. Don't understand it. It pisses me off a lot more than it should. I don't know why it annoys me.
I like the jumping off the bikes, though.
Yeah, I didn't get that tree.
That's fun skill.
Now. I've mainly gone for the swords. I've pretty much maxed that out, got all the finishers and shit. Still pretty low level in comparison to what I was. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. But I'm still itching and thinking about Baldur's Gate. It's just constantly in my mind. And now I'm having the same feeling I had when I was playing Baldur's Gate about Cyberpunk. I'm having the same feeling about Baldur's Gate while I'm playing Cyberpunk. I want to go and play Baldur's Gate now. I feel like I'm missing out. So yeah.
How near are you to the end
of Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the final act.
Oh.
So I'm in Act 3. And I think the level cap is level 12, and I'm like 9 or 10.
So you're near there.
I'm level 10. So yeah, I'm near. But this Act 3 is huge. Like the amount of stuff you can do in Act 3 and the places, and it's mad. So yeah, I'm having a great time, but I will get back to Baldur's Gate 3. Oh, excuse me, I'm tired today. Very soon, and I'm looking forward to it. Don't be telling me how long is Act 3 if that's what you're fucking Googling.
I wasn't going to. All I was going to simply say was I was going to talk about the beef.
Talk about the beef then.
The beef. Sorry. So, I put a comment on TikTok.
Oh, that beef.
Yeah, that beef. I put a comment on TikTok and it got small fry, little 423 likes now, rather quickly, and 73 comments underneath it of people having a full-blown argument kicking off in the comment section, which I've very much enjoyed reading. And it's basically, I commented on the new PS5 Slim and I said, nobody asked for this, why do we want a removable disk drive? Which I think was valid. I feel like that was a valid statement. I felt that was a valid statement to make, of which a lot of people agreed with me and a lot of people didn't agree with me. So I want to talk about the PS5 Slim, please, if you'll have me. Right. Okay. Let me block that. I've got a little article here that tells you the differences in the PS5 Slim and the normal PS5 Slim. So, basically, as far as I am aware, the PS5 Slim. The original PS5 has 825 gigabytes of storage. Yeah, that's the standard edition, right? And then you can expand that storage. The PS5 Slim has 1 terabyte of storage. So that's 825 before the system software goes on. So I think you're left with like 600 and something. So I'm going to imagine 1 terabyte is probably around 800 odd, maybe, after the system takes a fucking portion of it. All right. And it says, just like at the PS5's launch in late 2020, there are 2 PS5 Slim models. One of them has a built-in disk drive and the other one is digital only. Those are the only differences, and obviously the size. The price itself, the Slim with a disk drive is $500, and the Slim without a disk drive is $450. And then you can buy the disk drive for $80. So translate into pounds however you will. I don't understand it. I don't get it. So it's a PlayStation 5 that's digital, but you can pop on a disk drive if you want to, and you can take it off at the same time. For what?
So what's is it better? Is it a PS4 Pro?
No. It's not a hardware change. Literally storage size. It's got 4 panels now as opposed to 2, which is supposed to help with cooling a bit better. And the price. That's all that's different. I think it looks way uglier than the PS5. The PS5 is not a very pretty looking machine as it is, but I think the Slim does look worse. I can't work out what this detachable disk drive is. I don't understand how or why. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I mean, yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? If you want a digital, get a digital. If you want the disc, get the disc version. I don't know why you would want to buy the digital one and then buy this.
So I was reading that apparently what it is from a manufacturing point of view, it makes it easier to manufacture said PlayStation because you're not having to do 2 different iterations. So whereas now you've got the disc version and the digital version, obviously the digital version now, you've got no way of ever running a disc, ever. As far as I'm aware, the new PS5 Slim, they're both digital, but one of them you can fucking pop on a detachable disc drive if you want to, and the other one you can't. That makes it a lot more easier to manufacture because there's no difference in the 2, or if there is, it's very, very little. I did read that what Sony's doing is the PS5 Slim is coming to America first and then to the rest of the world later on. And they won't begin to sell it to the rest of the world until the current stock of PS5s has gone or is near to the end. But if if everyone's waiting for the PS5 Slim because it's a little bit cheaper and smaller, no one's going to be buying the current PS5. So that stock's going to take fucking forever to go down. Surely. You see what I mean?
Well, I don't know. There'll be a lot of people at Christmas getting it, wouldn't there? I don't really get it, to be honest with you. I think, I just don't understand. Why would you want a disc drive? Just buy the normal old one. Well, it should make more sense to just buy storage than a whole new PlayStation.
Says Sony officially announced a new PS5 model with a detachable disc drive and 1 terabyte of internal storage. Often referred to as the PS5 Slim, this new model is slightly slimmer and shorter than the existing one, but will crucially replace both the PS5 and PS5 Digital Edition. In the US, the new model will cost $500 with the drive, while the PS5 Digital Edition is $450. The new PS5 has a significant overall reduction in volume by more than 30%. My PS5 is not loud.
I've never heard my PlayStation.
And up to 24% reduction in weight. Well, I'm not carrying the fucking thing around everywhere, so I've never understood why that's a problem. Sony has now has a bulge at the side of the PS5 for the disc drive, which can be removed and replaced with a side panel, thus making it fully digital. It looks horrible, by the way. Have you seen the pictures of it?
Yeah.
It doesn't look nice. There are 4 separate cover panels with the top portion in a glossy look while the bottom remains in matte. If you purchase the base PS5 digital edition, you can add the Blu-ray disc drive at a later date, as Sony is selling it separately for $80, which selling it separately for $80 or 120 euros or 100 quid. 100 quid if you want that, right?
Well, but $80 doesn't make £100.
No, I know.
$80 is about 65, 70 quid.
I know.
So how are we getting a one-er out of that?
Fuck knows. It's cheaper in America than it is everywhere else. It's bollocks. There are now 2 slits on each side and dual USB-C ports at the front instead of the single USB-C and USB-A ports that are available on the current PS5. Get this. A horizontal stand will be included with the PS5 model, and a new vertical one that works on all PS5 models will be sold separately for £25. 25 quid. The current fucking stand on your PS5 lets you do both.
This is mental.
So for 25 quid, you can have your fucking PlayStation standing vertical. So the cheaper digital PS5 Slim is now almost as expensive as the normal PS5, because if you want it to stand vertically, you're going to have to spend an extra 25 quid in order for that to happen.
So why are they getting rid of all the old PS5s?
Yes, it won't be made anymore.
So that it's just disappearing. So
It's replacing it.
So we're going to have relics of the past.
So as far as I'm aware, the new PS5 model will be released in November in the US at select retails, blah, blah, blah. It will continue to roll out globally in the following months. Once inventory of the current PS5 model has sold out, the new PS5 will become the only model available.
Ugh.
In Europe, it will be priced at... here we go. In the UK, it's £480 with the drive, or $390 without the drive.
It's more expensive than it is now. I've got when the PS5.
Well, they hiked the prices up, didn't they? They had a 30 quid price increase since we got out.
Ours was like 450 quid.
The official announcement of this PS5 model comes months after the device leaked and after reports last year suggested Sony was working on a PS5 with a detachable drive. Remember, ages ago, I was talking about it on one of our episodes. I said that there was rumours of a PlayStation having a detachable disc drive. You're talking maybe like 40-something episodes, something around there. Sony also... It's almost like we're a gaming podcast that knows what we're on about, isn't it? Isn't that odd? Sony also just wrapped up its first PS5 sale with steep price drops in the UK, Germany, India and elsewhere. So... What I don't know is the detachable disc drive, where it mentions the Blu-ray disc drive. I don't know if that is the same disc drive as what you can buy with it, or if that's another one that enables you to play Blu-ray discs. Because obviously our PS5s, you can't play Blu-ray on them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're not Blu-ray
Who watches
compatible.
DVDs now?
The fuck knows.
But
100 quid.
These ain't the same shape then. Like, they're not the same size or nothing, are they?
They are.
My point being that have they not just sold
Like that.
They look similar.
So they're similar shape, but slightly different.
But I'd imagine they're different dimensions, surely. So
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So all these fucking faceplates and that they've sold for PS5 are just going to be pointless.
So the faceplates that they've got for PS5 now won't work because the faceplates on the new one are split into 4.
Yeah, so that's pointless then. So all these people that are fucking...
Yeah.
Like, they might have loads of them, but then when their PS5 dies, they can't get a PS5 that fits them.
No. So we spoke about it before when the other week when I said I'd clean my PlayStation. One of the main issues with the PS5 is the cooling, in terms of not that they fucking overheat all the time, but the fans are on the sides, which are covered by the faceplates. And you'll notice that when you buy second-hand or third-party faceplates, they have holes where the fans are.
Right.
Because someone at some point has obviously gone, well, that's fucking stupid. We'll just put some holes there to give it some more breathing room. So 90% of the third-party faceplates that you can buy on like Amazon and shit have those cutouts in them. Well, they've done that because it helps with the cooling. rather than just put holes in the cunt and say, here you go. It's very. I think it's a bold one to completely discontinue the current PS5 and then have a digital only. But again, that feeds into what I've been saying for such a long time. Gaming wants to go digital. It wants to do that. So the new PS5s will be digital only unless you buy the disc drive, which you can still detach and make it digital only. So, number one, I want to know how iffy is that going to be? If that breaks, that's going to be fun. What's the connections like on that? How easy is that to replace? How easy is it to put on and take off? And I feel like this is a slight look into what it will be like to just not have discs. You see what I mean? And I was talking to Mark about it. What scares me the most about it is that currently, if you're on PC or you're on Xbox and you want to buy a game, you can load up a nice little website called CD Keys, where you can get stuff considerably cheaper most of the time than anywhere else. And what they do is you buy your little game, they send you a little code, and boom, you can go in whatever store you want and download the game with that code. Sony obviously don't allow that. If you want to buy a digital game, you can only do it through the PlayStation Store, which is notorious, and so notorious to the fact that they're actually in the middle of being sued over how extortionate their digital prices are. To me, them making their next consoles digital only is terrifying, because that puts the entire monopoly of whatever they want to fucking charge for their digital games in their hands and not anyone else's. So you've got a PlayStation Store that you can only access PlayStation games through. You can never buy the codes and redeem them through the store unless you bought them through, say, like Amazon, which is never going to be something like CD Keys. It's never going to be considerably cheaper. And they're at free reign to do whatever they want. And if that's a peek into the future, and then eventually I reckon you'll end up with no disc drive because it's cheaper to manufacture games with no fucking physical presence. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You end up with games that are just extortionate, and it's like, right, well, I can't do anything about this. They've already hiked up the fucking price of PlayStation Plus. The other day they announced that they're bringing out a new streaming service for games for their big PlayStation Plus, like the premium one, the top tier. They announced that there's a streaming service coming out for games, almost like PlayStation Now was. So they are eager to go digital only and streaming. So I feel like the necessity for a disc is slowly being filtered out. At which point I feel you'd have to think, are you with the right console? If that's the future.
I mean, Microsoft have got their digital only console.
Of course they do. But Microsoft also allow you to buy cheaper games elsewhere and use them.
Not on Xbox, I wouldn't imagine.
Yeah. You can You
can get codes for Microsoft Store off of that CD Keys.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Right, but then, like I say, this has been on the horizon for fucking a millennium. People wanting digital only. And then, because originally, the Xbox, was it Xbox? I think it was just next gen in general, PS5, Xbox. Before they came out, they got major pushback because they come out saying, one of them, if not both of them, said that you couldn't buy pre-owned games no more. Once you put that disc in your console, it's registered to that console, you couldn't lend it to your pal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they got major pushback for that. And then they reverted that decision. Be that Sony, be that Microsoft, I can't remember. And, you know, there's a lot of people my age that prefer disc. Now, I've transitioned to digital only in the last couple of years. I have a disc PS5, but I think I only own like one, maximum two PS5 games. Everything else is digital, just for the ease of it, because I don't need to go and buy the physical copy. I don't need to go out my way. I live a fairly busy life nowadays, so just to download the game, it'll download before it's even release date, and then I can come home that evening and it was ready to go. and you haven't got to put the disc in, let it install, update, all that bollocks. So I have transitioned, but there's always a part of me that's been fearful of the digital age completely swallowing up physical, because once it's digital only, you own nothing.
Yeah,
You might
much.
You've bought the right to play the game,
Yeah.
but God forbid one day Sony just goes, you know what, we're going to go and make cars instead. Fuck this shit. Eventually they'll shut the stores down and you won't be able to access anything. All the thousands of pounds you would have spent on games over the years, gone. And you can't access them. And that's always been my fear with things like Steam and stuff like that. You've got a massive catalogue of games that one day might just cease to exist.
Yep.
And there's not really a great deal you can do about it. I mean, look at the debacle with Nintendo shutting down certain stores of theirs in the past, and people are like, but I've bought loads of games.
Yeah.
And Nintendo are notorious for letting you or wanting you to just keep buying rehashes of the same game over and over again with no enhancements. It'd just be, this is the port of this game on this console, because Nintendo now are the only company that won't allow you to play older games on your new system.
Yep.
So you can play old PS4 games on PS5. You can play old Xbox games on your Xbox, but you can't play old Nintendo games on your Switch unless you've rebought them.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? It's a scary way of doing shit, but I do think we're destined for that, and I don't think there's any way to avoid it. But yeah, you're right. I think once let's have it right. Like I'd given the choice, 2 PS5s come out. They're new. They're both slim. My PS5 breaks. There's a digital and there's a physical. I'm buying the physical. Now, my PS5 breaks. 2 PS5s, one digital, or both digital. One comes with a disc drive. I'm gonna buy a cheaper one because I don't want a little poxy disc drive. I want it embedded. I want it to just be. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would just naturally transition for the price range, for the price of it. And because it doesn't feel natural to just have a disc drive sitting about.
So there has been a little bit of misinformation. So I am wrong with the CD keys thing. You can use CD keys for PlayStation. I think there was a thing where where I've got it wrong here, where I believe they were trying to ban that from you being able to do that. I don't think they actually went through I don't think they was allowed to do it. But I think that's where I fucked up. I think it was Sony wanted to stop things like CD keys being able to be used on the PlayStation platform.
Which ironically probably made the spotlight turn to them and go, well, why do you want that to be banned? Oh, look at the prices.
Yeah. So if you listened to that and was screaming, going, no, you're fucking wrong, I apologise. I was wrong. I've now rectified it. You can go on CD keys to buy stuff. I'm just flicking through it now. Admittedly, most of the games on here, they don't have them in stock. And I'm not seeing any like new games that are on here. It all seems to be old stuff like fucking Star Wars Squadrons or Ghost of Tsushima.
How much are they just for... I've never even known this was a thing.
What, CD keys?
No.
Well, you didn't know what CD keys was?
No. Never heard of it.
Really?
Well, I've heard of it, but
you've never done it?
I've never known what it was.
It's just that they send you a code it's for cheap games. What do you want me to look up?
Anything.
For a game. Right, okay. So let's go back onto page 3. And see something that resembles any game that we fucking played. Horizon Forbidden West, 37 quid.
Not bad.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Dawn of Ragnarok, 8 quid is on here. And then they've also got things like FIFA points and Fortnite shit and PlayStation credit, PlayStation gift card. So there's a £20 gift card here for 18 quid. I don't really know how that works, but there you go. Spider-Man Remastered is 34 quid on here. Yeah, it's just a cheap. I used to remember how they do it, but I can't now. But yeah, I agree that digital age is being thrusted upon you, very much so. And I can't help but feel the new streaming service that they've announced for their games ties in very fucking well with the PlayStation Portal. Very fucking well. Because they advertised that it's seamless, like 60 frames, 4K, blah, 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 blah. It all fucking relies on your internet connection and how many people you're utilising that internet at the same time. You can't boast shit like that on a streaming service, especially with games, when you're fucking streaming them, because it entirely relies on the user, not the company that's allowing you to stream.
That's another problem with digital only is, they're whilst be a small market, there will be a market of people that don't have internet. So they'll buy a game out of the box and they won't get no updates. They'll just be like, well, this is the game I've bought and that's that.
Of course they will. And it's I don't know, like it's just an odd one. It's really, really strange. I would love to know exactly how the digital shit works. Like I fucking can't understand how you can run out of stock of digital games.
No, I don't get that.
How does that happen? How does that happen? Just make another fucking code. I don't get it. I do not understand it. But like you say, you don't own the game. You're just buying the right to fucking use the game. And that's it. Which is no different to your social media.
Mm-hmm.
You don't own it. You own the pictures that you put on it, but the platform itself, you don't own any of that shit. You've just been given permission to access it and use it. And yeah, I don't want my fucking PlayStation to not be mine.
No, well,
plus Sony are greedy cunts. They're fucking greedy. That PlayStation store is grim.
This is where we are. I need a piss and a shit.
And that was the conclusion of this episode.
I hope you got Bogwell in there.
I do. See you later.
Lord.
Uru.
All right.